Hi guys, this is going to be a very quick, very rough video of the different versions of San Andreas that you can get. I got an Xbox One a little while ago, and one of the main things I've been liking about it is the backwards compatibility. I've got a lot of 360 games, and most of them play. It's about half, I think, is available at the moment, and a few original Xbox games, and they all look and perform amazing. So I'm very excited about that. Anyway, I was on Reddit looking up as to whether there was any up-and-coming lists. I like that they release a few every week generally, so it's exciting to see which new games are going to eventually be able to be played. And I got linked to an article about Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and basically how this original version, if you put it into the One, it's backwards compatible, but it downloads the HD Xbox 360 version, which is itself based off the mobile port. So in the comments there was a bit of back and forth. There seemed to be a bit of confusion about what the differences are, what's the superior version. Everyone was saying that this version sucks and this version is definitely the one to play. Some weren't totally sure if this was actually compatible or not. It seemed to be a bit of a myth that had only been tested by a few people. Basically everyone seemed to be unsure, so I thought I've got all the versions. I love the game, and I thought I'll just do a straight up comparison because I've got a definite favourite, and but there's pros and cons to each. There is no definitive version. This is a 4K TV, but I know this is just on my mobile, but I'll try and do my best to go up close so you can see, at least you'll get the idea. It'd be better if I could do a screen capture, but I don't think this will be popular enough to really be bothered. So I'll start with the original version. So this is the original version. Well, actually no, there was a PS2 version before this. So this is actually an update of the PS2 version. This has got better textures, and they removed, it's a yellow sort of filter. It'll come up later in the video, I'll explain it a bit better, but basically, because the Xbox was more powerful than the PS2, the textures were a little bit better in this, the performance was a little bit better than the PS2 version, and at the same time, the PS2 version had a filter to kind of mask the poor graphics, and that wasn't needed on this, so it's removed. However, some liked the filter because it gave it a bit of style. It was that sort of heat wave, sort of an orange, and like that warped sort of air you get. I'll show an example because I do have the PS2 version as well, but it lost a bit of its character with that. So this was the next version, and this and the PS2 version, I might add, both have the hot coffee. You have to mod it to access it, but the hot coffee code. There was a later re-release of both versions. This is an Australian version, so we've got these ratings here. But the way to tell if you've got the cut or the uncut is if you have this earlier version of the rating, you've got the uncut. Not that you can access it anyway. There's a re-release of this original Xbox version, not the 360, that has this rating on it, and I think it's got the classics banner. That's the censored version, but that's the only thing. They just took out the hot coffee code that you couldn't get to anyway. So how this version runs, I've got it up here. I'm running it on the 360, which actually upscales it a little bit. So this is actually better than what it would have been originally, but as you can see, quality's not the best. There's bars on the side. The performance is so-so. I can't really film it and show you too much gameplay, but the draw distance sucks. You can sort of see a bit of it in the background. Colors are bright, textures aren't too bad because it's the Xbox version. And like I said, it's upscaled a little bit anyway. You get the original version of the map, which also does not look the best if you get up close. The main draw to this version, besides being uncut, I guess if you've got a Game Shark, you can get to the hot coffee, but the soundtrack. So what they deducted in the 360 HD version was a few of the songs. Yeah, but you get nonsense like this, sort of like glitching, that maybe because it's an emulation on the 360, but I remember that kind of stuff happening on the original version anyway. So you lose some of the songs. You lose, I know, Tupac, Rage Against the Machine, like basically all the best ones, which is a problem in all the Grand Theft Autos now. They've even patched them out of GTA 4 and Ballad of Gay Tony, a lot of the new songs. Even The Warriors, I noticed that got the end credits, the iconic end credits song patched out. So Rockstar doesn't like to renew the licenses. So this has at least got the entire original soundtrack. As you can see, it's playable. Anyway, that's this version. That's the original version that everybody seems to like. Not really any bugs. Performance is okay, not great, but it's a polished game put out by Rockstar. Then we had the 360 version, the HD version, which is a port of the Android and iPhone version. Now, I've got that running in the One X, and as you can see, it's night and day the difference. If I do a direct comparison, like even up close, there's no question. The colors are better, the draw distance is way better, performance is ultra smooth. Everything about this is better, basically. I know that's a very unpopular opinion because it wasn't ported by Rockstar, so there was a few bugs originally, but that's another thing I'll get to. So generally everything about this is better. The main concerns with this, obviously there's definitely no hot coffee anywhere to be seen in the code here. I mean, the lighting and everything's better. So they removed, quite a bit of the soundtrack, which is disappointing. That's basically happened to all of Rockstar's games at this point, besides GTA 5. So it's certainly not, something that you'd single out San Andreas for, especially this port. The map. So it takes a minute to load in, but when it does, it's way better. As you can see, the definition is way better than the Xbox version. However, the menu is, they haven't really updated it from the iPhone version. Like, these icons are clearly put there. Everything looks a bit different. This is what the stats and things look like. Everything's clearly put there to be more intuitive to the iPhone version. And if you press start, you get this. You don't even get the map straight away. You then have to click another button to get the map, which is pretty annoying. Takes a bit of getting used to. But I mean, again, it's clearly, once you get into it, for that extra button, you're clearly getting, a far superior. If I zoom in here, again, there's just really no comparing it. I don't understand all the hate for the HD edition. It's clearly better. Anyway, so that's that. Now, what I will say, where this does fall a bit flat, is, as you may have noticed, this is the 360 version running in the One X. It does not perform nearly as well in the 360. If you put this disc in the 360, it'll look the same as this, but it's a lot buggier, and there's a huge issue. Now, this almost made this version unplayable, and I definitely understand the hate this got for just this bug alone. The audio will just cut out, and this has got great cutscenes. It's got a celebrity all-star voice cast. The audio just cuts out inexplicably for no reason. It seems to vary as to how much that'll happen. One of my friends played through, and he reckoned it probably only happened to him about 4 or 5 times, and there's about 90 cutscenes. I was getting it probably 1 in every 11, I'd say, which is way too much. It has not happened once. I've had no bugs on this One X version, so I don't know if they've purposely improved it or it just runs a lot better on the One X, but I've had no bugs, no audio issues, no problems at all with this 360 version on the One X. Now, there is another version. Unfortunately, it's digital only, which I don't always like, but what can you do? The PS4 version. Now, as you can already see, this looks totally different again. Now, this is probably the closest to the pure original. This is like probably the best compromise of the two versions. Again, you're going to have the hot coffee cut out, and I haven't been able to fully confirm it, but I've been listening out and I haven't heard any of the original soundtrack. So I'm pretty sure they patched out the songs that didn't get re-licensed anyway. I know they did with the PS2 port of the Warriors, so it stands to reason they would have done the same with this. But this is basically the PS2 original version. So the textures are actually the worst of the lot in this, outside of the PS2 version. This is running on the PS4. But it's upscaled to HD, it's widescreen, performance is great, it's better than the Xbox version running on the 360. And it keeps the original filter. So if you enjoyed that aspect of it, as you can see, there's just a bit more orange lightness to it. Certain scenes, there's that sort of wavy look in the air that you get when it's hot, the distortion. It's got the original menu. Just, you know, it's not crystal clear, but it's certainly better than it originally appeared, because there is an emulator, a PS2 emulator in the PS4. It's generally deactivated other than the games that are available in the PS Store, but it basically runs PS2 games just at full HD, and performance is much better. I don't know if it's 30 or 60 frames, but basically at optimal performance levels. So you have 3 versions. This is probably the best compromise, but has the worst textures. Then you've got the Xbox original version, which has the full original soundtrack. As far as I know, that's the only way to still get that. And then you have HD edition, which looks the best, but people complain it's not a pure version, and it's certainly the least close to the original. Now the last thing, and this was the main thing that people were a little bit confused about with the porting to the One X. So I'll get rid of this. What happens if you put this version in the One X? Do you get a HD version of the original, or do you get the this version, the updated version? And you get the updated version. Since everybody seems to be back and forthing about it on social media, I'll just show you now. So this is actually another disc is in the 360. So we have the original Xbox version. Goes in the One X, and it loads up the HD edition. So really, if you have the original version, if you happen to have this and you never bothered to buy this version, which was also available digitally, you really get both in one. So for that reason alone, this is probably the one to hunt down, because depending if you put it in the 360 or the original Xbox, you get the pure experience, and then you still get access to this version, because how the Xbox One emulation works is that the disc basically just acts as a key. Anytime you put one of your 360 games in, it downloads a digital copy, and it basically just allows you to access that digital copy. But as you can see, it's the Android version. So once again, sorry about the unprofessionalism of this video, but hopefully that was interesting to somebody.